Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. So, trigger warning, this is about a sex trafficking ring and sex abuse. YouTube doesn't monetize my videos, so I can basically talk about whatever the hell I want, say what I want. So that's what we're going to do right now. Trigger warning. So back in 2017, 84 kids rescued, 120 human traffickers arrested in an FBI sting at Myrtle Beach Hotel. Myrtle Beach is in South Carolina. Myrtle Beach is a huge tourist area. I worked there for years at the hotels, the golf resorts, the bars and restaurants, the clubs. Myrtle Beach is a dangerous place. Let me tell you, if your children go there for spring break, you better be careful. You better teach them to watch out for stranger danger and sex traffickers because it's bad, and for drugs too. But this story in particular is one of these stories that even though I knew this stuff went on there, this story shook me. Like it really, really, really hit me to the core because I had no idea that it was this big. And in these areas, you wouldn't think these stories would be this big. Yeah, you see you're a prostitute or you're a drug dealer or a child abuse case, in these towns. You see stuff like that occasionally, but you don't see 84 kids rescued. And that was just the ones they could find. There were more. You're talking almost 100 children. Why this story didn't hit the media bigger and harder, I don't know, because it should have been on every news site around the world, and they should still be talking about it. 84 kids rescued, 120 human traffickers arrested in an FBI sting. That's 120 people. So there's more kids. Now, the part of the story mainly that I want to talk about, now, there was a victim who was as young as 3 months old. Okay, take that in for a minute. Out of 120 human traffickers who were arrested, there was an infant involved in this sex ring. Just take that in for a minute, okay? 3 women were arrested and charged with prostitution last week in a joint FBI Myrtle Beach Police Department operation at the Hilton Garden Inn near Coastal Grand Mall. Hilton Garden Inn. Now, the part I want to talk about here for a minute, when they do these stings like this, a lot of times, and I'm not trying to be sexist or be mean, I'm just trying to tell the truth, a lot of times these women will claim that they're a victim or they've been sex trafficked because that does happen. There are a lot of times where the women are being forced into it and to lure more people in. But you do have some women who are making just as much money off of these children as the males are. And these women will use that victim excuse and they'll get away with what they've been doing. They'll claim that they were pimped out, that they were the victim too. Now, in this case, on October 13th, a 16-year-old female victim was recovered by FBI agents in El Paso, Texas, after an undercover officer called an online advertisement for entertainment. An online advertisement. They put it on the freaking internet. The agent met with 21-year-old female who agreed to engage in sexual intercourse with the officer and the 16-year-old for a fee of $200, according to the release. Further investigations revealed that a second adult female drove the minor and the 21-year-old to the undercover agent's location. The release stated, both female subjects had been arrested on federal charges according to the FBI. Now, normally when this happens, the female or females will use the excuse that they were also victims, and they'll get a slap on the wrist for snitching out someone else's name, like a man. They'll tell, well, this man was our pimp, and then the police will go after that person, that pimp, and let these people go. And what will happen is that woman will go right back out and start doing the same thing again. Now, I want to say, and it's 2021, people have to get over this mentality of women as victims, and the man just can't be a victim. Women just don't kidnap kids and don't molest children, and yes, they do. How many teachers have been caught molesting kids? Female teachers. have been caught messing with 12 and 13-year-old boys. Look at the video I just done recently about the babysitter who got impregnated by the 11-year-old boy and then had a baby by a 16-year-old boy. And she was pregnant with her third child while she was in jail. Yes, this happens all the time. Females can also be sex offenders. They can also rape children. They can also do drugs. They can also kill people. Females can be just as guilty as males. I don't know why police and our judicial system sees a female and she'll put her hair up in a bun and look like a librarian, like in the Jody case. And it's like, oh, well, just give her a slap on the wrist because she knocked out that person. And they'll give them a plea deal. Well, if you give me this bigger person, we'll let you go. And then she'll go on to reoffend over and over and over and lure in more kids and kidnap more kids and do the whole thing all over again. The cycle doesn't stop. You have to stop the cycle by each person getting the proper punishment, not just the man or the pimp. Now, this case was a huge case. Like I said, the FBI was involved. Captain David Knipes with the Myrtle Beach Police Department said the arrest came as part of the FBI's operation on the evening of October 13th. The Federal Bureau of Investigation led Operation Cross Country in 55 FBI field offices across the country with the help of 78 state, local task forces and 5 international partners hailing from Canada, the United Kingdom, Thailand, Cambodia, and the Philippines, according to Wednesday's new release. That is a lot of backup. Do you see now why I say, why I've been screaming, this case deserved tons of media attention. But what do we see on the news? Celebrities, athletes. Well, they got divorced. Oh, that he cheated on her. She cheated on him. He's got a new song out. Yes, while they deserve attention from what they're doing, but when it comes to their petty drama, no, this should be more important. Cases like this should be way more important. And stuff like this you don't hear about. We should be hearing about it. It just blows my mind. 84 kids, and there were more because only 120 human traffickers were arrested. Now, if they brought in task force officers, if they brought in help in Myrtle Beach, and they brought in people from Thailand, Cambodia, the UK, many other states like Texas, North Carolina officers came out, all these other places. This was a huge, huge case. This was a huge prostitution ring. Like I said, the youngest victim was as young as 3 months old. Why has it not been all over the news? And yes, it was 2017, but even in 2017, we heard about it for 1 or 2 days, and then I didn't hear nothing else about it unless I went on the internet and looked it up. I haven't even heard about what charges these people got. How much time did they end up getting? Had they even been to court yet? Because the Carolinas are known for dragging court cases out to get them lawyer fees. And they also do it because they're slow. It's ridiculous. You can sit in a North Carolina court for 2 years on a traffic ticket. You can sit in there for child support. One guy was telling me that he sat in jail, the county jail, for almost 5 years for a few $100s in child support. He couldn't pay the money because he was in jail. He got behind on his child support because he lost his job. $500 later, he's sitting in jail, and the money just keeps adding up every month. Every month it adds up to more and more and more. He can't pay it from jail. He was sending in $20 a week trying to make an effort, trying to pay it, but they didn't care. Stuff like that is just, now if they're not trying to pay it at all, okay, I understand that. But that's ridiculous. How's he going to pay it from jail? So let's see. Okay, let's go back here. Okay. We at the FBI have no greater mission than to protect our nation's children from harm. Prove it then. Stop letting these women go with plea deals to narc out someone else that you want. And that's what they'll do. They'll get a woman and they'll say, oh, well, if you'll give me Billy Bob over here because he sells crack, give me him, go buy drugs from him, I'll let you off of all of this. And then they'll let her off. It happens all the time. The number of traffickers arrested and the number of children recovered reinforces why we need to continue to do this important work. This operation isn't just about taking traffickers off the street. It's about making sure we offer help and a way out to these young victims who find themselves caught in a vicious cycle of abuse. Agreed. And there are literally no safe houses for these people. You can barely get a restraining order in North and South Carolina. You know how hard it is? Unless you have money or your family is known, like your papa knows the senator or your papa knows the DA, then you can get some help. FBI agents and task force officers stage operations in hotels, casinos, and truck stops, as well as on street corners and websites, according to the release. The youngest victim during this year's operation was 3 months old, and the average of victims recovered during the operation was 15 years old. Minors recovered during operations are offered assistance and state protective services and the FBI Victim Services Division. Depending on the level of need, victims are offered medical and mental health counseling as well as a number of other services, the release stated. So why do we see so many victims saying that they're not offered anything? Because I got a whole nother video coming up about that from a girl who was in a sex trafficking operation. She was not offered any help by police. Not offered any counseling, not offered anything. All they did was take her abuser, file charges, let him right back out, and she was on the streets because now she had nowhere to go. DSS, so CPS wouldn't take her in. They couldn't find her a foster home because they said she was too old. She couldn't live on her own because she was 15. It's what I'm saying. It's bull crap. North Carolina and South Carolina has a lot of work to do, and President Biden needs to get down here and let's start fixing these two states because they are so far behind on the times. It's embarrassing. And they're not the only states. A lot of these laws are still like they were 60 years ago, and they haven't been changed. And we can't change anything in South Carolina or North Carolina because you have so many people running this place that have been running it for decades. They don't want to change because their pockets get fatter the way things are right now. On October the 13th, the FBI field office in Denver, Colorado recovered 2 minor girls, one 3-month-old, one 5-year-old. According to the release, a friend of the children's family offered an undercover officer access to the 2 children for sexual purposes in exchange for $600. The FBI is working with Child Protective Services to conduct a forensic interview and secure safe placement of the children. The FBI stated in the release, the family friend was arrested. Where are the parents? Where the heck are the parents? If these kids need placement and they're arresting the family friend, are the parents being arrested? They should be in some kind of trouble. Obviously, if CPS has had to remove them. October 13th, 16-year-old female victim was recovered by FBI agents in El Paso after the officer called on an advertisement for the internet. And that's what gets me, y'all. These people are on Craigslist doing this. And Craigslist, you can flag it. They'll put it right back up. Because Craigslist is still allowing sex advertisements. Yes, they said they were not going to allow that anymore, but yes, you still can. You can go into the community and they'll say stuff like looking for, say, Caucasian female fitness partner, or looking for a fun time, or in town for one night, looking for fun. Yes, they're still on Craigslist. But anywho, that's what I want to talk about right now. So leave your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for watching.